Stanley Tucci is back in the spotlight thanks to The Devil Wears Prada 2, and honestly, it feels like everyone is ready to fall in love with Nigel all over again. The glasses, the calm elegance, the dry humor. Tucci has that rare ability to make even a tiny reaction feel iconic.
This is quiet luxury. Luxury that is so quiet you need an ear trumpet.
Today, fans know him as Felicity Blunt's effortlessly stylish husband. The man with the Negronis, the cookbooks, and the internet's favorite kitchen energy. But long before that chapter, there was another woman at the center of his life, his first wife, Kate. And their story was not just romantic. It was warm, complicated, painful, and shaped by both family love and one very public scandal. Stanley married Catherine Kate Spath in 1995. She was a social worker, and together they built a big blended family. They had twins Isabel and Niccolo, then daughter Camilla, and Stanley also helped raise Kate's 2 children from her previous marriage. It was a full, busy home with 5 kids and a lot of real family life. And because this is Stanley Tucci, food was part of the love story too. In his memoir, Taste, he remembered Kate learning his mother Joan's lasagna with bechamel sauce. Tucci's mom knew exactly what she was doing in the kitchen, so learning that recipe was not just a casual little cooking lesson.
Upon hearing the sound of car tires on the gravel drive, and a moment later the shouts of "Merry Christmas" from my parents' mouths, I would sheepishly look at Kate. She would sigh quietly, and then, as she slowly turned and stared at me, I would see something die in her eyes.
But Kate kept trying until she finally mastered it. And when she did, Stanley's mother cried and told her, "I have nothing left to teach you." That tiny detail says so much. Kate was not just Stanley Tucci's first wife. She was part of his family rhythm, the children, the meals, the traditions, the ordinary life that existed before the internet decided Stanley making pasta was everyone's comfort video. But in the early 2000s, that family life hit a very public scandal. In 2002, Stanley starred opposite the Sopranos actress Edie Falco in the Broadway revival of Frankie and Johnny in the Clair de Lune.
And there are a number of reasons I wanted to do it. One was a beautiful play, a great part, and a great actress.
The play was already intimate on stage, and off stage, their connection reportedly became romantic while Stanley was still married to Kate.
She is terrific. She really is. I have to say.
Well, you make movies, sir.
She's awfully good.
Stanley has not really given a long public explanation of what happened, but Edie did speak about it briefly in 2004, after the relationship had ended. She told the New York Times, "We were together, and then we broke up," adding that there was no way for that to be a good thing. She also said Stanley was back with his wife and kids, and that she was glad about it. But that did not make the story simple. A few years later, Kate was diagnosed with breast cancer, and for a family that had already lived through a painful public chapter, this was something much heavier.
I knew that most likely, yes, she would die, and she knew.
And yet you couldn't discuss it.
It was illness, treatment, fear, and the reality of trying to keep a household steady while someone at the center of it was suffering.
This must have been very tough for your kids.
Yeah, it was hard for them.
"We tried everything we could do to save her," Tucci told The Guardian. "I wish that I could have done more, and that I could have been with her at the moment she passed away." Opening up about that critical moment, Stanley said he couldn't be in that room because he knew it would be so devastating that he wouldn't be able to take care of the kids after. Aw, Stanley. "Her death is still incomprehensible to me," he says nowadays. "Her absence, unreal." Kate died in 2009 at just 47 years old. After her death, Stanley called her an extraordinary person and spoke about her strength. Years later, the grief was still there. In 2021, he said, "You never stop grieving," adding that it was still hard more than a decade later. But Stanley also made it clear that Kate would not have wanted the family to stay trapped in sadness.
And she would never want any of us to wallow in that grief and let it take over our life.
Kate's death was not just the loss of a wife, it was the loss of the mother of his children, the woman who helped build that big blended family, the person who had stood in the kitchen trying to master his mother's lasagna until she got it right. Stanley did eventually find love again with Felicity Blunt, whom he married in 2012. But his life with Kate did not disappear. They had children together. They shared a home, meals, history, mistakes, reconciliation, and loss. Stanley did find love again, but not in the loud tabloid way people expect. It happened quietly, and weirdly enough, it traces straight back to The Devil Wears Prada. Did you know The Devil Wears Prada didn't just give us iconic performances from Emily Blunt and Stanley Tucci, it also turned them into actual family? Yes, really. What started as a friendship after the 2006 film eventually became something much closer when Stanley married Emily's sister, Felicity, 6 years later. And now, nearly 2 decades later, the story has only gotten better. While filming the sequel in Italy, Emily and Stanley weren't just co-stars returning to set. They were spending time there with their families, including Emily's husband, John Krasinski, their children, Stanley's wife Felicity, and their kids. They really went from hanging out on set to taking real family holidays together.
What was the family's reaction when you guys found out that you were going to be doing the sequel? What was John's reaction? He's always such a great supporter of your work.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Because he loves this one, and
Yeah.
he's a massive fan of the first movie.
Emily and John Krasinski's daughters, 12-year-old Hazel and 9-year-old Violet, reportedly spent time with their cousins, 11-year-old Mateo and 8-year-old Amelia, and according to Stanley, the kids are incredibly close.
Kids are the same age for the most
Best
part, and
friends.
they're best friends. And so we spend a lot of time together over each year.
But if you're picturing some calm, elegant Italian getaway, think again. Stanley described the adults cooking meals and making cocktails while the kids ran wild in the background. Emily jumped in with a hilarious comment saying they barely saw the children because they were sort of feral. Honestly, every family vacation has that energy at some point, and that chaos may have followed them onto set. Emily joked that in The Devil Wears Prada 2, she and Stanley hardly had scenes together because production likely wanted to keep the naughty kids apart. She added, "We laughed way too much, we know each other. We are over-related at this point." Which, let's be honest, sounds like the perfect description for this very unexpected Hollywood family setup. But how exactly did Stanley fall in love with Emily's sister? Let's find out. On the red carpet for the comedy drama The Devil Wears Prada, Stanley and Catherine bumped into Emily Blunt and her sister Felicity. That's where I met Emily, and we became friends. And actually, Felicity, Emily's sister, met my wife, Stanley said in 2021. She and Kate talked at the premiere that night, and I have a photo of them together. Stanley and Felicity reconnected 4 years after the premiere, in 2010 at Emily's wedding. This was a year after his wife's passing. There, they discovered they had a lot in common. Felicity made a unique impression on Stanley, thanks to her appetite. He reportedly said he had never seen someone so slender enjoy her food so much.
We realized we love food. We both love food. I met her at her sister's wedding, and we started dating when I started working in London. And then when I would come to visit her, we'd always go out to restaurants and we would cook together.
Stanley and Felicity began talking that weekend about their love of food, and then made plans to meet up in London, where she lived. And he was going to work next. The first time we went out, we ate at this little restaurant that wasn't really good food, but we had such a nice time. The then friends went to another restaurant where they had a 4-hour meal. By the end of it, Stanley was so full, but Felicity asked to see a cheese cart. "I thought that's incredible," he said. That restaurant would ultimately be where the couple had their wedding reception. The Supernova star later elaborated on the Queen Latifah show about how the rest unfolded.
And we started eating out together a lot. And then she came and stayed with me in America, and we started cooking together, and it's great.
Their little rendezvous led to more food-related dates that finally blossomed into romance. The actor revealed that he had feelings of guilt just after proposing to Blunt, as he felt it was all too soon. Stanley proposed to Felicity in November 2011 while on a trip to Berlin. "I panicked instantly afterwards," Stanley said. "It was very hard to go on vacations at first, really hard to go with Felicity someplace. I felt guilty. It's horrible." Ultimately, he admitted that letting go of Kate was difficult. Nevertheless, he knew she would want him to move on. Thankfully, he didn't let fear hold him back from falling in love again. In August 2012, the duo confirmed that they had secretly gotten married. Later that fall, they had a formal wedding at Middle Temple Hall in London, and Emily was a bridesmaid.
They are a culinary super couple. I feel like she's taught him a lot of stuff as well.
Today, Stanley is grateful he saw it through with Felicity. It is not easy to find somebody who is going to take on 3 teenagers and a widower. That's a lot, he said. But she was willing to take on that challenge. She cares for the kids as if they are her own, and it is a tough role being a step-parent. A few years after exchanging vows, Stanley and Felicity grew their family with children of their own. Then, at the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic, the father of 5 dished on what it was like quarantining with his entire family. We can't help but think how lucky we are to have one another, a roof over our heads, food in our bellies.
It's really sad, but things are getting better. The vaccination is being rolled out brilliantly.
The actor truly appreciates life. Stanley's Instagram page is packed with clips showing the happy couple combining, mixing, and heating ingredients for food and cocktails and more. The pair also gave fans more insight into their passion for food through the cookbook they co-wrote. It contained the family's wine pairings, updated recipes, amazing photos, and family memories for the upcoming generation of Italian food lovers. The lovebirds have been through quite a lot, always making the most of the time they share.